welcome back to the channel. Thanks again for watching, liking, subscribing, giving us a thumbs up whenever you like our content. Really appreciate that. Really appreciate the subscriptions as well. Thanks again to all you guys that have subscribed to us. It's fantastic. Keep the comments coming down below. We love talking to you and interacting with you. If you've got any comments about future content you'd like to see or any questions, feel free to ask, and we'll do our best to answer them, or do our best to try and maybe get some content out there for you. One of the things that's always been bugging me with this particular bike is I'm in Canada, and we use kilometers per hour in Canada. America uses miles per hour. All the North American Royal Enfields that are sold, Interceptors and Continental GTs, as far as I know, have a dual speedometer. It has both miles per hour and kilometers per hour. Now, if you have a look here, you'll see that the miles per hour is on the outside, kilometers per hour and the smaller numbers on the inside. With my older eyes, you know, they're 60 plus years old, sometimes I find it a little more difficult to be able to see the numbers at speed. So that's always sort of been in the back of my mind. And I was cruising one of the forums one day, and a contributor by the name of Jess had posted up that she was having some dealings with a company called Venoxy out of Poland, and she was designing some gauge faces, so yeah, speedometer slash tachometer faces for her bike. Now, I reached out to Venoxy. They're a company based, like I say, out of Poland, and they were kind enough to send me some new gauge faces. So these are them. They're quite nice, actually. They'll be going on here, and then the tachometer over here. So, anyways, these are what I'm going to install in this video, and I'm going to show you how to do that. This would be a good chance for somebody, if they've got some issues with humidity or moisture in their gauges as well, to take the gauges apart, clean them up. I've never had any issues with humidity or moisture in mine, and there are a few people that have, but this will be sort of a bit of a tutorial on how to take your gauges apart as well. First things first, I'm going to remove the C-Racer fairing. I'll put a link to the installation for the fairing right up here, and like I say, I still love this fairing. Works great. Really makes the bike look good, I think. But first, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop the fairing off and then get back with you guys. Okay, so the fairing's off. You've got four, if you don't have a fairing, you'll have four of these acorn nuts, two here and then two here. Because of the fairing, it attaches here, so I don't have the acorn nuts, but so. Okay. So now the gauges will lift up and out, and as you can see, the rubber boot comes up and seals everything. You can pull enough slack with the wires, the harness. Now, what we have to do before you disconnect the wires is you have to take out these 6 Phillips headed screws. I think this is most likely a vent for the gauges as well, but these will come apart now. And what you're able to do if you look on the inside, you can slide the bottom cover as well as this boot down but still keeping the plug plugged in. So just along the sleeve, and you'll see just right there, there's the wiring, there's the plug. Now what you have to do is push on this. Right in the center you'll see that tab. And you can get enough wire up. There's enough slack in there, and then push this tab down, and there you go. Pops right out. So there's this is the plug, and this is the tab that you have to push down in order to remove it. But those are the wires. Quite a few of them actually too for such a small thing. And here is the dash and the back of it. Now we're going to go inside and we'll take it apart further and I'll show you how that's done. Alright, we're back. Well, we're not in the garage, we're out on our deck anyways. So now what we have is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 screws, small Phillips headed screws to take out. There's 8. Hopefully they all are grabby still. I'm just going to dump these screws out. Okay, set that aside. And here we have the faces. Now, to remove the pointers, indicators, hands, I guess they're hands, like a clock hand, they're hands I suppose. I'm just going to use a screwdriver, and don't worry too much about moving your hands around because we'll reset them. I should turn it around so I don't bugger up the LED. So they'll come up on the one side, and you can just lift them off. As you see here, there's a small tab there and a small tab there. So do that on each side. Now, to actually get the hands off of the dials, you can insert a screwdriver here and just this. Maybe I should do it from the other side. Okay. Screwdriver there, all the way in, and then what I'm going to do is pry up and hold it by the other side as well to try and bring it up as evenly as possible, because you don't want to break this off. Again, under there. Come on. There we go. And that's popped off too. Now, to install the other ones, the new faces, what we do is see here the RPM will fit there. So there's these plastic tabs right here. These lock the faces onto the gauge cluster. So you just tip that tab, and then you've got to rotate the whole thing like 1/8 of a turn until these tabs line up with the holes. Then it'll just simply lift right off. Same thing with on the miles per hour side. If you look at this one, so same thing. These have to be rotated down. So again, off that tab there, then rotate it, and then it just simply lifts up, and you see the tabs there. Set those aside. These, I've got to say, the Venoxy ones are heavier, thicker than the factory Enfield ones. So now we go down, stick it on, then a bit of pressure down, and just rotate it until you see it click on that. Again on this side, rotate it, then, on first, then rotate it, it's locked in. Now what we have to do, before we proceed further, is because the hands were moved, have to go back to the bike, insert the harness into the plug, turn the keys on, cycle it so that it goes to 0, then reinstall these, because we'll know then the hands should be at 0. So then we can install these without moving them. So come on with the old. Alright, so what we're going to do now is just plug this in, not all the way, just to the first click, put the key in the ignition, let everything cycle, which is up, down, like it always does. Turn it off. Remove the plug, go back inside, and we'll put the hands back on the valve. Okay, so now we're back. And what I'm going to do is, see at the 0, just gently but firmly push it down. And again on the other side. Gently but firmly down. Now I'm going to go back outside again and make sure these are in the 0 position. Okay, back outside. Let's see, we'll just click it in like that. Let's see how we are here. That's good. Looks like the RPM should go a bit more the other way, so I'm going to turn it off. I'm just going to give it a little twitch. Now I'm going to redo it again. That's a bit high, but we'll just turn it off again. Oops, that's too much. Kilometers per hour is good. This one I just want to give it just a oh shit, I should have turned it off. That's okay though. How is it now? I'd like it up just a hair. Maybe I'm being too particular, but I think that might be, let's see. No, down a touch. We should be good now, let's see. Should I? I'll try one more adjustment. Let me see. No. Jesus. There we go. All right. Okay, that's good. Now let's go and put it back together. All right, back outside or on our deck here. These little caps, all you got to do is give them a little push down on top. Make sure they're clipped in. They don't have a front or back, they're the same on each side, so there. Now, we'll put it back together. Now, one of the things you got to remember when you're putting it in is there's this selector button. So this little piece of plastic or metal or whatever this tab is here has to go into this hole. So make sure when you're putting, because it's easy for it to get pushed aside, and then you'll find resistance, you're not sure why. So as you put it together, just be conscious of getting that, and that's, yeah, that works. You can feel the pressure on the button. It's contacting properly. So now put the 8 screws back in and we'll head back outside. Okay, back outside, clicking it in, this time making sure it's all the way seated, which it is. Now just one last check before we button it up. Looks good. Okay. Now, we'll bring up the base. And reinstall the 6 screws in the back. I won't bore you with that right now, but I'm just going to reinstall those off camera. And okay, there we go, got those all cinched up. Now once again, down through the rubber grommets. Now we'll put it back together with the acorn nuts and the fairing. As you can see, I think the gauges look fantastic. Much easier to see. Once I get the fairing on, we'll do another shot as well. And then what I'm going to do is I'll post up as well at the night shots, because my understanding is at night they look fantastic. So I'll do a couple stills, probably right about here. Right now I'm going to put the other nuts on. Just hand tighten. These, don't forget the washers. They're all washer. Okay, so got the fairing back on, got everything installed. Have a look, see, looks pretty good, eh? As well, the indicators, ABS light works, high beam, low beam, battery, neutral, and then the dreaded check engine light. So yeah, there you have it. If you guys like the content, like this video, please give us a thumbs up. Thanks again for joining us. We really appreciate it. Sorry it's been so long between videos. Hopefully we'll get a couple more for you here in the next little while. But once again, guys, thanks for watching, and keep the rubber side down, and take care.